Okay, let me ask you something. What's the most important filter you can think of? Well, what if I told you that you have one working inside you 24/7 that is literally saving your life every single day? Today, we are talking about the urinary system, and trust me, you're about to see why it's the true unsung hero of your body.
Let's just start with this quote, because it's a really powerful idea, isn't it? We usually just think of urine as, well, waste, something to get rid of. But what if the very process of making it is what's keeping you alive? That's the whole idea we're digging into. This isn't just about waste disposal, it's about creating the perfectly balanced internal environment that you need to survive.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the big picture jobs of the urinary system. Then, we'll zoom right into the tiny, microscopic machinery inside the kidneys. After that, we'll follow the incredible assembly line that turns blood into urine, see who's calling the shots, and finally, trace that final journey out of the body. Let's dive in.
All right, so to really get why making urine is life-saving, we've got to talk about one key concept, homeostasis. It sounds complicated, but it's really just your body's constant mission to keep everything, well, perfectly balanced. And the urinary system, it is an absolute master at this, juggling a whole bunch of critical jobs at once to keep you stable.
I mean, just look at this list. It really shows you what an incredible range the kidneys have. It's not just about taking out the trash. Nope, they are constantly fine-tuning your blood's pH, managing your blood pressure, your blood volume, they're balancing your salt levels, they're triggering the creation of red blood cells, and they even help activate vitamin D. It is an amazing, multitasking machine.
So where does all this unbelievable work actually happen? Let's zoom right past the big organ itself and get down to the microscopic workhorse that makes it all possible.
Everybody, meet the star of our show, the nephron. You can think of each one as a tiny, super advanced blood processing factory. This is the exact spot where your blood gets cleaned and the fluid that's going to become urine gets meticulously tweaked and refined.
And get this, the number is just, well, it's mind-boggling. Each one of your kidneys is packed with about 1.3 million of these little nephrons. That's more than 2.5 million tiny filters, all working in concert, giving your body this massive capacity to clean your blood nonstop around the clock.
So how does one of these nephrons actually turn blood into urine? You know, it's a pretty complex process, but we can actually break it down into a simple 3-step assembly line. Let's check it out.
These are the 3 fundamental stages. It's basically filter everything small out of the blood, then carefully pull back everything you still need, and finally, actively toss in any last bits of waste. This exact same blueprint is happening in millions of nephrons all at the same time.
Okay, this is the perfect analogy for step 1. Just picture a colander in your kitchen. High-pressure blood flows into this special filter, and that pressure just shoves all the small stuff. I'm talking water, salts, glucose, waste, right through the holes. But the big stuff, like your red blood cells and proteins, they're like the pasta. They're way too big to fit, so they stay behind in the blood. Simple as that.
Now brace yourself for this number. Your kidneys are so incredibly efficient that they produce about 180 liters of this initial fluid, it's called filtrate, every single day. That is literally enough to fill a bathtub.
So here's the crucial part. If your body didn't do anything else with those 180 liters of filtrate, you would be in serious trouble. And you'd be in trouble fast. This huge volume is exactly why the next step in this assembly line isn't just important, it's absolutely essential for survival.
These next 2 steps, they're all about quality control. In reabsorption, your body is like a super smart recycler, reclaiming over 99% of the water, all of the valuable glucose, and just the right amount of salts it needs, and puts them right back into your blood. Then with secretion, it does one final sweep, actively grabbing any leftover junk and adding it to the fluid that's about to become urine.
This table just shows the results of that process perfectly. Just look at the columns as we go from left to right. Your blood plasma has proteins and glucose. Then in the middle, the first filtrate, it still has the glucose, but see? The proteins are pretty much gone. Then, by the time we get to the final product, urine, all the glucose has been taken back by the body, and all the wastes are now super concentrated. It's a perfect snapshot of that whole refining process.
But this whole incredible system, it's not just running on autopilot. Oh no. It is constantly being fine-tuned by this really sophisticated control panel of hormones. And they respond to whatever your body needs right now. Like, are you hydrated? What's your blood pressure doing?
So let's look at the key players on this control panel, right? If your blood pressure gets too low,
aldosterone steps in and tells the kidneys, hey, save that salt and water. If you're getting dehydrated, ADH shows up and tells them to recover more water. But if your blood pressure is too high, these natriuretic hormones come in and say, nope, let's get rid of some salt and water. It's just this constant dynamic balancing act.
Okay, so the urine is now fully formed. It's been filtered, it's been refined, its volume has been perfectly adjusted. So, now what? Let's trace its final journey out of the body.
From those millions of nephrons, all the urine flows into these collecting ducts, and it gathers in a central area of the kidney called the renal pelvis. From there, it gets squeezed down these muscular tubes, the ureters, and into the bladder for storage. And that bladder is incredibly stretchy. When the time is right, the urine finally exits through the urethra. Just a simple, efficient exit strategy.
So we're going to end with this. Knowing that your kidneys filter a full bathtub of fluid every single day, how are you going to treat this incredible biological machine that's working for you right now? This isn't just some abstract science, right? It's happening inside you. Suddenly, that advice to stay hydrated and take care of yourself, it feels a lot more important now, doesn't it?